She was getting bullied a lot at school. And I think that is what prompted her to feel like she just needed to, whether it's confidence or...
She turned into a fierce fighter, and we would never imagine that she could do that. And seeing the achievements that she achieved through you has helped her through life.
She just has no, like nothing stopping her. You ask her what's her plan B, and she says, I don't have one.
I think you'll learn about yourself and what you can and can't do. Everybody needs to learn that. And I think learning that at a young age is going to help them set them up for their adult life. You instilled in both of our kids is to say, oh my God, I found something that is really fun, but it's hard, because life is hard.
There are things that Ashleigh does sometimes that astonish me.
And as a dad, you just kind of go, how does that happen, And she understands that you have to work hard.
Persevere.
And persevere.
I know it's been a while since Ashleigh has been in class necessarily, but what I really like about doing it this way and what I really found is really interesting is there's been all these years in between, right? So they started with me like 7, 8, 9, 10 in that age range. And now like Ashleigh's like 21 now. So there's like this difference that maybe you can see. And I'm hoping you can kind of articulate that to other parents, which program to kind of choose or which one to look for and what to look for in a program. I know a lot of people think that all martial arts schools are the same, but that definitely isn't the case. It's kind of like not all basketball coaches are the same. So I'm just trying to dig in and find out a little bit more. So I'll kick off this first question here. If a parent is listening right now, what's the biggest change you've seen in Ashleigh since she started in martial arts with me way back in those days?
Maturity level. I mean, she has definitely grown into an adult, which is fantastic. I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah, she has some mental issues, but they've gotten much better. Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
Left out a word.
It's all good.
But I just think that being with you for as long as she was and seeing the achievements that she achieved through you has helped her through life, because I think she understands the definition of hard work, because there's no question that you made the kids work hard. The other thing I liked about what you did is the fact that if the kids didn't show respect to not only you, but to the other kids, they probably didn't stay around very long. And I love that, because I think in today's world, and I even think back then, the fact that I grew up in a military family, as you well know, because we've known each other for a long time. And I just think that people need to understand to show respect to other people. And that is the one thing that you really instilled in these kids, is showing respect to not only to themselves, to you, but to others, which was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that, that was like our first anchor. And I think I'm pretty sure it's the first anchor that she learned with me, which was respect everyone. And it was hard. There were kids that were there that had disciplinary issues, right? Put it that way. They had some things that was challenging there. And I wasn't there to discipline them, as far as like hit them with a belt or, sit in the corner or something like that. They didn't stick around because they found that if you weren't respectful to others, it wouldn't be a good class for you. So if you were to say what was the before version, so the before Ashleigh started with me, what was that version like?
I think it's interesting because the before version is, a little ADD-ish, right? Where you just don't have a lot of skills to figure out, what all these things that are going on in your mind, best way to just hone in the skills that you need. And until you learn them, it's really going to be helpful. And that's what I feel like has changed. Once she went to, your martial arts class, she really figured out how to overcome, a lot of the skills of whether or not it was maybe just being a little scattered, just not really able to focus as well. And so I think that those skills have really been something that she could carry over that have really helped her. And now you can tell a difference. She just really, and, we all get a little bit scattered sometimes, but she really just knows how to figure out how to get back to her center. And so so I would say she's really kind of overcome, a lot of those, I'm not sure how to figure this out, but I'm going to give myself a second and then really just kind of listening to yourself and being able to do it that way. So I think that's one of the biggest changes I've seen in her.
Yeah. What about confidence? I remember Ashleigh being like a little timid, a little shy with some things. What would you say that was like?
I just remember I'm just going to piggyback on Janelle a little bit. is yes, she was very much like that before she came to you. But when she started taking martial arts and seeing the levels that she could go up, and also you had a competition team, and she loved that competition team. And she turned into a fierce fighter. And we would never imagine that she could do that. And I mean, she was kind of, for lack of a better way of putting it, a badass when she
She
got
turned
into
into
that
one.
ring.
Turned into one.
And what's funny is she turned it on and off. Like when she was in the ring, and I know you saw that too. She just, boom. I mean, she turned into a fighter. But when she got out of the ring, she was back to kind of like being, the big hearted Ashleigh. And I just thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. It was great watching, and it's been amazing kind of watching her transformation over the years.
Even back to confidence, I mean, just to the point of the fact that she's doing what she's doing today, which is wanting to be on the big screen. I mean, that's not an easy, force to overcome. And she just has no, like nothing stopping her. You ask her, what's her plan B? And she says, I don't have one. She just, it's kind of almost exactly what Dan was describing about just being, when she's on, and she just has really come a long way. And things that I don't think I could ever do, it amazes me that she'll get up on stage, she'll learn how to do a British accent. There's just no stopping her, which is really exciting to watch.
What's amazing, again, to reiterate what I just said is, and she has taken it to acting, is how she can just turn it on and off. The fact that she can remember the lines that she remembers and going out there and performing, and she loves every minute of it. And it was just saying, and I think the reason she can do that is, again, going back to that competition team, is the fact that she knows how to turn it on and off, and she's really good at it. She really is. It's impressive.
Yeah, that is so great that she's doing that. And it's awesome to hear. What was like kind of like that moment that made you look into something, like look into martial arts or look into finding like a program or something for Ashleigh? What was kind of like that call to action?
I might trigger something in you. I don't know if you remember. Actually, I went in there for her and I at first because you had this adult exercise, and you instilled martial arts into your exercise, but her and I wanted to do something to where we could manage our weight and things like that. And then it just snowballed into both. Aiden was with you for a couple of years, but he kind of went off into basketball. But I'm still believing that the 2 years that he was with you helped tremendously. To be honest, I wish he would have stayed, because, learning how to fight, and you and I have had many conversations throughout the years, I go back to Mr. Miyagi a little bit, is you learn to fight so you don't have to fight. And you have that kind of same motto. And I just think having that skill in you is a plus, because it does add that confidence to wherever you go. It was us, and then it turned into the kids, and it was awesome that they learned how to do martial arts.
And then they took it from there, where we ended up kind of, maybe not doing as much, which we should have, really took to it. And, I think that the two of you had a great relationship, to where it was just very respectful, and she just really wanted to, stick with it. And that, she did a lot of things that she didn't necessarily stick with, but that was one of them. And to this day, she's still looking for, how, ways to get involved in martial arts. And I mean, this is a long time.
Well,
how many?
I told you, but there is in her school, but he's a martial arts teacher, and Ashleigh goes and works out with him like 2-3 times a week. So I think that's just awesome. And he's thoroughly impressed with her skills. So obviously we attribute that to you. So
they even have a class, right? They attach the class that the guy teaches, and she's so excited to, do her thing. Talk about, putting her martial arts skills to work. So
yeah, and I think it's great that she is. I'm glad that she's still trying to find it for herself. She might not live in our same area where she can just easily come and train at my school, but she's still seeking it out. I mean, I did that. I went and trained at other places after I left, different instructors. And I think it's good to learn from others and, and broaden your horizons. So
absolutely.
Good. So was there anything like that you were like, this is really what we like to have her gain? Like, this is the reason why we were putting her in.
Well, I'll be honest with you. She was getting bullied a lot at school. And I think that is what prompted her to feel like she just needed to, whether it's confidence or just getting stronger physically, I think was maybe a good mindset for her to think about going into it, so that you don't let the bullies win. I guess is the best way to say it. But I remember that was a big issue for her, and that made it, and her being with you made a big difference that way too.
Sometimes I think we fail to realize how it impacts us, whether we're getting bullied, at 10 or at 9, or we're getting bullied at 19 or at 30, because bullies never go away. I mean, it just doesn't. So the sooner you can learn how to handle that, I think is a thing. And did you find that she learned how to handle bullies a little different then?
Yeah. The thing about Ashleigh, she has such a big heart. And that's part of the problem why she got bullied, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so people felt like they could take advantage of her. So learning how, and the thing is she had the confidence to fight, and she was very good at it, as you well know, but she didn't really want to use it as a weapon against a bully, which is kind of interesting. And I think, and again, I think there's a time and a place for everything. And again, we've had these conversations before, we talked, and matter of fact, you and I actually had the same conversation with her saying, you know what, if this kid bullies you, and you even gave her permission to beat the crap out of the guy. But she never, and we all, I know, and we actually had a conversation, her and I, not about a week or so ago, about that whole thing. And she goes, you know what, Dad, I wish I would have beat the shit out of that guy.
She was right there.
It took her a while, but she goes, in hindsight, I wish I could have done it, because I know I would have beat him up.
But mentally, she overcame it. She did overcome it. But that's a part of why, I guess, what I said about getting, having those skills, but not knowing what to do with them. Because now she's a big proponent of counseling. And, if there's things that bug her about, when she got bullied or things like that, she just knows what triggers her, and she knows right away, okay, it's time to go talk to a therapist or talk to mom and dad or somebody. But she's very much in touch with herself now because of those things that happen. And yeah, maybe she didn't go beat the kid up, but I think that's just, it now is something that she is very mentally aware of, to, just to not let those things happen to her.
Yeah. And I think and you definitely tell her that without question. I mean, we had, obviously, as parents, we helped her out a little bit. But
yeah, no, you guys did. You guys think I was just a good partner for you.
Yeah,
in that sense.
For sure.
Everybody processes everything at a different pace, right? And there's no rush. I mean, she's processed through it now, or is maybe a little more processed through it, and is now thinking back, like, I really should have physically done something to defend myself a little bit more. But that gives her empowerment to go, if that happens again, this is what I'm going to do. Because now she has a new process, or a new
she's equipped.
Tool. Yeah, she's equipped with a new resource to be able to go and handle it differently this time, which is great. So was there anything that you were trying to do before you put her into classes that you were hoping was going to help her? Like any other kind of activities or things like that?
We put her in.
She played soccer,
swimming and things like that. But and I think Dan hit on something earlier when he was talking about discipline. And, we did put her in other activities and swimming. And my point is, doing those things really didn't get her to the place where she learned the discipline that she did when she was with you. So I thought that helped make a big difference too.
Sorry to interrupt. And I think part of that is, let's go back to when we started about, are there good coaches and bad coaches? Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter what you're coaching. And the fact that you are an excellent marcher, I would recommend you to No End forever, because you are exactly what the kids need. And you know exactly how to be hard, but you also know when to compliment and lift them up. Let's say break them down. But I think part of that was your training in the Marines. I mean, that's what they did in the Marines, and that was one of the reasons why I liked you and she liked you, is the fact that you were a former Marine and you had that military background, because you knew how to work with kids. You weren't working with adults. Well, you worked with adults too. But what I'm saying is you instilled the Marine motto of breaking down and building them back up. Plain and simple. Yeah.
Well, just to verify with everybody who's going to be listening to this, I try not to break them down. Dan, I understand what you're saying completely, that there is this building process. And I think that's what the Marine Corps or the boot camps do, is they build somebody into something else, or into something different. Right. And whatever that difference is whatever a student takes from it. I mean, even for yourselves, you guys went through my boot camp, my fitness boot camp. I was putting you through the ringers. So, you came out of that completely different. As Ash and Aiden came out of my martial arts classes different. They're a different individual now because of that experience, right?
I agree.
Yeah, but
100%.
and one thing that I'll add to that is that you, and I think this is kind of what Dan was trying to say, that you have a way of making that process fun, but but there's a reason obviously why the kids are there, but you make the ones that are serious about wanting to and can see that there's some good in it for them. There's a reward. And I think that that's what Ashleigh really, kind of came to touch with, is that she felt that, she felt that all the hard work that she did, there was definitely, a reason for a method to your madness, but it made her feel good at the end of the day that she was doing something good.
Yeah.
And I also think that it's good to have a mentor other than parents. And you were definitely a great mentor to both of our kids, without question. And again, anybody that's out there that wants to learn martial arts, I would highly, highly recommend you.
Well, but again, not to be, too much rah rah. What kind of in this conversation, what's helped me realize that there's not just like one reason to send a kid into a program that you have, like if you're going to put them into swimming, that's what they do, they swim. You're going to put them into dance, that's what they do, they dance. But you, with your program, it's really, there's so many different things, that you are there to learn and you don't even know it, but you enjoy it. And Ashleigh and Aiden both definitely did. And so I think, otherwise why would they have stayed as long as they did? So it was a great learning lesson then and a great learning lesson now.
I think martial arts taught the right way, kind of touches on really all three aspects of life, that mental, that physical, and then that spiritual side, that they can explore in a safe place without getting, or criticized or any of those other things. If you find the right coach, you can find the right path forward on a lot of things. Was there any fear or hesitation on Ashleigh or anything when she first started? Did she have anything that she was afraid of?
I think there's always a little bit of fear because, she was going into learning how to do something that she had no idea how to do, and she didn't know what you were going to be like. So yeah, I do. But I think that that's part of your being a good coach, is that you put that, I mean, don't tell me you told the kids it was going to be hard, but you also told the kids, if you do what you do and work hard at it, you'll level up, or you'll go to wherever you want to go. And I'm not going to say brown belt, black belt. It's way more than that, as you well know.
Yeah. So let's touch on that. So because I think a lot of times, the belts, sometimes that'll be tangible, or something that they get is tangible, but there's all these intangibles that come out of training. What would you say to somebody about, like, hey, look, if you do this for, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, 3 years, whatever, here's probably what you're going to find, you're going to see, or you're going to get that you can't hold, but is probably more valuable than anything else.
I think you'll learn about yourself and what you can and can't do. Everybody needs to learn that. And I think learning that at a young age is going to help them set them up for their adult life. So it's learning things, and maybe things that you didn't think you could do, but you end up doing them. Like, for example, breaking a board, or breaking 3 boards, or, doing that thing, and just having that just before you break the 3 or 4 board, am I really going to be able to do this? And, when you do that, it just lifts you to a higher place. And I thought, again, tremendous.
Yeah, I love that. And I would just add, for me, it's really something you're going to get out of it, what you put into it. And I feel like you said, that a lot. I'm not sure if it was one of what was not the rules, but the
Anchors.
So I don't know if that was a part of it, but in any event, I think that that's just something that goes with you in life. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. And again, just with Ashleigh, at least, not knowing what the expectation was, she just wasn't sure. But again, you made it competitive, you made it fun, and you made it hard, but you made it rewarding. And so when you find yourself really just putting yourself all in, and then just being able to be rewarded after it's all said and done, again, just putting into it, just not knowing what you're going to get out of it, and then just really being excited for yourself to be successful at, and I guess at what I'm trying to say, like your goals, you said, achieving your goal.
Well, the
That's
thing
what I'm trying to
is
say.
that one of the things you did, and it didn't matter what belt you were going for, you had, I believe you gave them guidelines on what you needed to learn to get that belt. And so they had homework and things like that. So again, it's if they're going to achieve that level, they had to work hard at it. And what was fun about that, and I'm not just saying for Ashleigh, but all the kids, is after they got their whatever belt, yellow belt, orange belt, they were super excited about the next training about, okay, what do I have to do to get to level up? So that's exciting too, to see their enthusiasm to do that.
So what were like the first couple like weeks like in class? What were some changes? What was that like?
Well, that they wanted, like, I can't remember what day. I'm just going to pick days. Let's
Yeah.
say we were there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They couldn't wait for Tuesdays and Thursdays to go to their martial arts class. So that right there, we knew that they loved it because, as we know, if kids don't like something, I don't
Every
feel
excuse
good.
in the
Or
book.
There's lots of excuses that become
Yep.
apparent. Yeah. Well, good. Did you see anything like that surprised you the first couple months?
They still wanted to go.
What kind of changes did you see like those first couple months, in either one of them that kind of like you're just kind of like, wow, that's kind of different.
Well, I think Ashley, I think if I remember correctly, again, I'm trying to remember, they had things to do at the house,
Mm-hmm.
that they,
It was a chore. It was a chore. Like there
yeah,
was
Oh, the
like
church.
these,
You even had
yeah,
a
they were,
church, I think, didn't
yeah,
you? Something like
yeah.
that?
It was what I called my character building
Yes.
sheets that they had to
Yes.
take home and they had to
Yes.
do tasks at home.
yeah. Aiden, maybe not so much, but I think Ashley, yeah, not Aiden did his thing, but Ashley kept her room clean and she,
Hmm.
she was all about, she wanted to become a black belt. So she did what asked the kids to do. And I think that's great. Again, this is what I think kids need today. They need to know that they can't just live on and not do anything. They have to be able to be happy about something and desire something. And I think that's what you instilled in both of our kids, is to say, oh my God, I found something that is really fun, but it's hard, because life is hard. So it was really good. It was good.
And just to kind of piggyback on that, just the follow-up, in and of itself. Here we are talking about the character building sheet, but it just made it really just second nature for her to follow up, where, we were talking a little bit about having been scattered and really not having those follow-through skills just weren't there. And so I felt like that, just having those, whether it was homework to do or that character building chart, just having that there, just again, made her excited to want to see it through. And then just the follow through process had, I think, really changed for her.
Well, and that's the other thing. Aiden made straight A's up until COVID, pretty much. COVID changed Aiden a little bit, but COVID changed a lot. But he made straight A's. And if he made a B, I think he made maybe one B in that time.
He didn't like
He didn't like it. So I just think, again, I think a lot of that, because, a lot of kids don't have that self-discipline to do their schoolwork and want to get A's. That's all he
Mhm.
wanted to do. He wanted to get A's. So yeah. And Ashley did her schoolwork, but she was good in other ways because
Yeah.
school wasn't her biggest thing.
Sure.
But she still made good grades, but she didn't make straight A's. But the fact that I just think that you taught them a lot of life skills,
Mhm.
and to this day, I think, for the rest of their lives, it's always going to be a part of them. And I attribute that to you. Well, again, part of that to you.
I appreciate it. Was there anything that was hard, or what would you say was like the hardest part of the process of this journey that, either Ashley or Aiden, whichever one you want to talk about, what was the hardest part that you found for them that they would talk about? Like, was it like some parents had said, they said the conditioning part, which is like the push-ups, the sit-ups and the running and all that stuff. Was there anything that Ashley found that was super difficult?
Kicks. She worked hard on her kicks, and she's actually a pretty good kicker, but she always thought she wasn't that good of a kicker. So she worked pretty hard on that, and she still can do it to this day. Still can get her leg above her head and
Well, the
stuff.
flexibility was
Yeah.
a big, just being flexible, I think, as a whole, you could see that Jason's training made a difference for her
Yeah.
in her flexibility, big time.
Good. What are you the most proud of now that Ashley has accomplished?
So what's interesting to me is, there are things that Ashley does sometimes that astonish me. So we have moved from California to Arizona about 5-6 years ago. And she was going in to be a freshman at a school that was, let's put it this way, 900 freshmen. And they were doing a singing contest. That's actually at orientation. And they were having a singing contest. She knew nobody. And so she was the first one to raise her hand to get up and do a singing contest in front of 900 incoming freshmen that she did not know. And I just love that she'll just be the first one to raise her hand all the time. No matter what, she has no idea sometimes what she's doing or getting herself into. She's just the first one to raise her hand.
So she has the confidence just to take that leap, just to kind of believe in herself enough, just to go, look, I'm going to go do it. Whatever happens, but I'm just going to go do it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible.
And for me, and I'm very different, I maybe used to be that way, but sometimes I'll be like, I'm going to maybe let somebody else raise their hand first to see what's going to happen. But she goes all out, and it's really fun to watch her.
Well, I thought she was going to say it, but the other thing is she's not afraid to explore. For example, she went to Savannah, right? And Savannah wasn't quite what she thought it was going to be, which is fine. She's 18 years old. It's hard to say what you're going to do, but she went 3,000 miles away from home, and
didn't look back.
And didn't even, she didn't even care. But what was also interesting is she came back here and she was doing her research, and now she's at this acting conservatory in LA, and she lives by herself. She drives around Los Angeles. And let me tell you something, she was not the best driver. Matter of fact, she didn't start driving until she was basically 18 years old. And even then she wasn't that great. She was like a granny driver. And I just went back to LA. And now she's totally in LA. She's like in and out. Why are these people going? So what I'm saying is she's definitely grown, and she's grown in confidence, and that's just what Ashleigh does. And she's been doing, and again, for a person that does have a little bit of mental health issues, you would never know it. You would never, ever in a million years know it. And that's what sometimes she's kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And as a dad, you just kind of go, how does that happen? But she's great. And she does a lot of things, like Janelle said earlier, that she's the first one, off the ship, off the boat. She's a rah, let's do this type person. And that's awesome.
No hesitation.
That is great. If you could go back to the parents you before you started, what would you tell yourself, or what would you tell the parent listening right now who's maybe on the fence about enrolling them in my program?
I would tell them you should have no hesitation whatsoever, because I would literally, that's what I would say. I've been around a lot of coaches. I played a lot of sports. I've done a lot of things, and it's all about who teaches you or directs you, whatever. Because again, I was in the same realm as you for a long, long time. I taught golf for 30 years. You're everything. And so I understand what a good teacher is and what a good teacher isn't. And you were definitely a very good teacher. I would send my kid to you, no problem. Now, if I had to go to Cobra Kai, I'd probably I'd be different about that. So where I'm going here with this is I'd rather send them to a Mr. Miyagi type person than to whoever the Cobra Kai guy was.
Sure. Absolutely. Janelle, anything?
I guess I would say, obviously when we started, we all got, we got to do it with the kids. So we got to be involved, and we got to see, the excitement. We got to see what they were doing. But, so one, I would say it's a great way for parents to just really learn and understand what's making their children tick. Right. And so it's just a great way for, to sit down at the dinner table and talk about, what'd you learn today? And, we've talked about it. It's discipline, it's perseverance, it's, setting and exceeding expectations and goals. So there's just there's so many exciting things that go into it. Whereas again, if you're just, I'm not saying don't take your kid to dance or sports. Obviously, you're going to want to do that. But there's this unsaid alternative where there's, where you're learning all of those things put together that you just may not be learning in one particular setting. So it's just a great way to get to know your kids, and for your kids to get to know, you, and just really kind of have that family environment more than just, those other things.
Well, Jason, just one quick thing too, is the fact that we're sitting here talking to you now, 12 years, 13 years later. And I just think that says a lot about you because that doesn't happen very often either, where we can sit down and because you did become a friend, obviously.
But our kids would say the exact same thing.
And that's why we're excited that you will talk to Ashleigh, because she's super excited about doing this too.
If we were to sit down 1 year from today again and talk about maybe what Ashleigh has accomplished or where she's at now, what would you say would be maybe like a big breakthrough for her?
If she got a part in a TV show or
when you see her on screen.
And I firmly believe, and she has some talent, and I firmly believe, and that's the thing, she is working hard, and she understands that you have to work hard.
Persevere.
And persevere. Exactly.
That's what she got from you.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
And I don't know if it'll be a year from now, but I really believe that she will get that part or whatever they call it in that industry. But I think she'll get something in that industry where she will get a paycheck. How about that? That's probably a better way of putting it.
And you'll probably be in the thank you speech.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. That'll be good. And I'm excited for it too. I've always wanted to see what the students go off and do, because each one goes and does something different. And, her doing that and maybe being able to shine in the way that she wants to shine is going to be great. And I hope to see her on the TV screen as well. That will be definitely good. I want to thank you guys for doing this. So I really appreciate this, because this helps out other parents who, they're maybe are on the fence, or they're looking for something. And this kind of helps them see from a different parent view, not just me telling them about what the program is, but from your guys' point of view of how it kind of progressed over the years. So I really appreciate that you sat down and did this with me.
Thank you for asking us. And I think martial arts is a great way to learn life skills. It truly is. And I think learning from you there's nobody better. And I just want to let everybody out there in podcast land know that.
Yes. Thank you, Master Jake.
You're welcome.